Welcome to Exhuming the Truth, the podcast where we delve into the mysterious world of cold cases, missing persons, true crime, and the fascinating science that is forensics. I'm forensic scientist and criminologist Asha Walther, and I am so thrilled to have you here with me on this journey as we dance in the shadows of the world of crime, shining a light on scientific discovery while becoming another voice for those who need it most. So grab a drink and get comfortable while we jump into this episode together. Due to the sensitive nature and urgency of today's episode, there will be no housekeeping or verbal disclaimers. You can find our content warning and disclaimers in the podcast notes, allowing for more time for discussion. When following along and contributing to any discussions about this case, please be aware that this is an active investigation, and therefore you will hear the word allegedly throughout episodes to protect all persons involved in an effort not to hinder any progression in this case. If you're not new here, you may know that while I have degrees, certifications, and experience in forensics and investigative criminology, I have no affiliation with law enforcement. Exhuming the Truth operates with advocacy at the forefront of our work, and I am entirely independent of all other services with no affiliation with any external businesses or services. Today, we are asking for your help in an active case. I hate even classifying situations as dire as these as cases, but this hit close to my heart. We have a son, a brother, a friend who never came home. Jack McLennan disappeared from the Ficks Crossing area near Murgon in Queensland, and for his mother Kellie, life has never been the same. Kellie wakes up every day not knowing where her boy is, and that's on the nights she manages to catch any sleep at all. She is stuck in survival mode, doing everything in her power to advocate for Jack, to find him, but she can't do it alone. Jack is more than a name on a missing persons poster. He is a kind soul, a young man with dreams and a deep connection to those who love him. Since the day he vanished, his family have been searching, pleading, and fighting to bring him home. The days have stretched into months, and still there are more questions than there are answers. Someone, somewhere, knows something, and even the smallest of details could break this case open. Jack's mum, Kellie, exerts an exuberant, warming nature, so it hasn't been difficult for strangers, both in person and online, to rally around her to help in some way, even just by following along and keeping the conversation flowing. But a crucial part of the search for Jack relies heavily on funding for specialists such as drone experts and expert search operations to cover all kinds of heavy terrain. This is where the community can come in. If it's not within your means to donate in a monetary way, you can help Kellie by sharing this episode, talking about Jack's story, and being eyes and ears across the country to keep the pressure and focus heavy until he's found. The more people who hear Jack's name, the closer we get to our very foundation, the truth. Let's stand together with Kellie, with Jack's sisters and Jack's father, and let's help bring Jack home. Although under incredibly undesirable circumstances, I had the pleasure of speaking to Jack's mother, Kellie Moody, to get to know her son from a family perspective, to be able to share a bigger picture with you and humanise this missing man. At the time of his disappearance, Jack was 27 years old. Physically, Jack was 6 foot tall and had previously worked as a personal trainer. He was fit and healthy. He cared and respected his body and his health. Moving away from his physicality, Jack has been described as an independent, funny, approachable guy who is welcoming and who is kind, but who ultimately enjoys his own company and being a homebody. Jack is not typically a heavy drinker, enjoying a drink here and there while maintaining his healthy lifestyle. Not too long before all of this, Jack was working for a building company as a construction apprentice. He had a friendly relationship with his boss and his co-workers. Jack was close with his family. He was his father's only child and an older brother to his 2 younger sisters, sharing the same mother, Kellie. In getting to know Kellie, I have no doubt he took on many of her traits, being exceptionally easy to talk to, considerate and outgoing, all the things you would be proud of in a son, as Kellie is of her son Jack. Jack and Kellie shared a closeness a lot of us parents desire. It wasn't out of the ordinary for Kellie to assume the role of an Uber driver for Jack at any time of the day or night to ensure his safety. And it wasn't out of the ordinary for Jack to feel at ease when asking his mum to do so due to the closeness of their relationship. He always maintained regular contact with his family. A son, a brother, and a friend that anyone would be proud of. How can he be here for 27 years and totally vanish in what seems like mere moments? Please, let me walk you through the timeline of events leading up to those moments last spring in Queensland. On the 4th of October 2024, Jack McLennan went into the Murgon police station during some stage of the day to check on his rights as a tenant due to his former girlfriend allegedly kicking him out of their shared rental property on the evening prior to the 4th. Jack sought advice of the police and his rights to stay in the rental property. They shared this address due to paying his share of the rent. At 1:37 p.m, Jack was seen at Murgon Bottle Shop. At approximately 2 p.m. of that afternoon, Jack visited his co-worker. They were at the co-worker's partner's residence in Garrick Street, Murgon. At approximately 2:30 p.m, Jack and the co-worker went to Ficks Crossing in a vehicle belonging to the co-worker. Jack left his Ford Falcon at the Garrick Street address as the pair headed out together. The pair were said to have allegedly been having a couple of beers. At approximately 3:30 p.m, Jack's mother Kellie phoned him. Around this time, there was a reported sighting of Jack at Ficks Crossing. Around 5 p.m, Jack was seen at the Wondai IGA with groceries, where he then left to go to a residence in Wondai. The residents at the Wondai home were known to the co-worker and allegedly report it was their first time meeting with Jack. The co-worker's friends described Jack as polite, and they also state that he did not appear to be intoxicated. Concerned after Jack's relationship ending and knowing Jack's usual movements, Kellie phoned Jack at approximately 8:45 p.m. During that call, Jack said he was feeling tired and had planned to stay at a friend's place. After the call with his mother, he spoke with his sister Sydney, and he told her he had plans to attend the football on Sunday with his boss. During this phone call, Sydney noted she could hear the co-worker in the background. During these calls, Jack was allegedly at the co-worker's friend's residence. The co-worker's friends approximated that around 8:30 p.m, both Jack and his co-worker left their property and thought that the pair were heading back to Ficks Crossing. They also alleged that Jack did not appear to be in any sort of state and that he appeared to be happy at that time. However, they allegedly believed that the co-worker seemed, I quote, a bit messy. Kellie spoke with Jack at around 9 p.m. and had thought the pair were at Ficks Crossing, but she cannot be sure. She noted that Jack sounded flat and offered to collect him, knowing he had been out all afternoon, to which Jack responds he would be staying at a mate's house and going to bed soon. Kellie presumed her son would know what he was doing and he would be safe and he would be responsible, as he always had been. At approximately 10 p.m, the former girlfriend spoke with Jack. The last known text sent from Jack's mobile was the word good night to the former girlfriend at around this time. His phone died at around 10:30 p.m. The co-worker stated that Jack allegedly walked off but was unsure of what direction. A friend had allegedly reported the pair had an argument that left Jack to be annoyed, wanting to head back to his car at the Garrick Street address in Murgon. Jack is reported to be missing from this time on October the 4th, 2024, and was last seen by his co-worker. On the 10th of October, Detectives found a pair of white sneakers around 200 metres from the river in the grass area between Ficks Crossing and Krebs Bridge on Kangaroo Yard Road. On November the 28th, 2024, a wallet and a bank card was found by searchers on a private property along Ferris Road between Ficks Crossing and Murgon, belonging to Jack. The property in reference is allegedly referred to by locals as Olive Grove. Jack's cap was found by officers near McAllister and McLucas Streets in Murgon in October. The co-worker, however, allegedly admitted to throwing Jack's hat out of his vehicle, allegedly stating the hat was wet. A few other notes to go by. Jack's Ford Falcon stayed at the Garrick Street residence from the 4th of October 2024. Jack's mother, Kellie, could tell that Jack was off after the argument, which was allegedly in reference to the co-worker looking for potential tracking devices in his vehicle. This behaviour was allegedly erratic, and it frustrated Jack as the co-worker was allegedly pulling the car apart in his search. Jack's Samsung mobile phone is also still missing. The police are appealing to witnesses, particularly a person who camped overnight in the Ficks Crossing area, to come forward. They were believed to be travelling in a dark-coloured vehicle with a rooftop tent at the time. There is a GoFundMe that has been created with funds to be put toward the private investigator expenses as well as other search efforts supporting Kellie and her family with things like fuel costs to drive to and from the search locations. Jack's licence was not in his wallet upon its discovery on Ferris Road. Jack has an active account on both Facebook and Bumble. Unfortunately, for unexplainable reasons, the search efforts by authorities have been scaled right back. No proof of life check has been officially conducted by authorities. However, a proof of life check essentially checks medical records such as Medicare use, bank account movements, etc., none of which have been used since. So as it stands, when he was last seen, Jack can be described as 185 centimetres tall with brown hair. He was wearing a camouflage t-shirt and black shorts with white sneakers. The police link number for any information is 131444, and you can also contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000 with case number being QP 240 17 494. As previously mentioned, I had the pleasure of getting to know Kellie by the way of phone call to get to know Jack a little more. And in that chat, I learnt a lot. I learned a lot about Kellie. She was so warm and beautiful and caring and loving, and you could tell what type of mother she is. So I have no doubt in my mind the type of person that Jack is, thanks to having such a loving family and a loving mother like Kellie. I'm going to share with you a little bit of our conversation so you can hear a little bit about Jack from Kellie herself. That is with Kellie's permission. I feel a great privilege to be entrusted in discussing Jack and Kellie's story, and I want the community to be aware that I am entirely dedicated to making the exposure a reoccurring conversation. So until there is a resolution here, we're going to continue to put our best foot forward in this case at Exhuming the Truth, and we're going to keep updates and conversations going. Hopefully contact some other experts that may be able to help or offer advice, and we're going to stick on this. And I would really love the community to rally around Kellie, and she is being helped by a lovely lady by the name of Suzanne, who's putting things together for her. I like to refer to her as the admin queen for their Facebook group for Jack. She has been helping out so much. She is also another lady who is just so kind and caring, and she has put so much time and effort into helping Kellie pop a timeline together and other things that we'll chat about after you hear a bit from Kellie and our conversation. So please sit down and have a listen and make sure you're sharing any information you can with those around you.
It's because, any exposure is excellent, and we haven't really had any. Probably the last media stuff was ABC a while back, but I think just keeping it out there is so good, isn't it?
Can you tell me about the GoFundMe? Are you hoping to raise a certain amount, or is this just for resources literally for you to be able to do this?
Yeah, it's literally for me. I know others in the group, so Suzanne Duffy's running the admin.
Yeah.
And Suzanne came into it a bit later, so she's even now just catching up with a lot of the beginning stuff. But she's doing a great job. But I saw a post saying, let's get the reward up. And although I'd like the reward up, I've asked for a police reward, which was just ignored, by the way. I wrote to the police minister a few times. I said to her, Suze, we need to also be paying some of our searchers, because we've got a few that do it regularly, every week.
Yeah.
It's petrol money. It's also just, I feel bad them doing it. So I said to her, I want to have the GoFund really for the resources, and if we bump it up enough, we might add, some more to this reward. It'd be good if it was at least 20,000, not as it stands at 10 now. But I can't believe the police won't even acknowledge this and do something, because why do they choose some cases and not others for a reward? That just boggles my mind.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, so it's just resources. I mean, even me, this is my now full-time job, darling.
Yeah, absolutely. I can imagine.
We're struggling. We have a business. It's like a second, taking away things from the tip, so it's like a second-hand shop as well. But we are honestly just at our sort of breaking point. Yeah, so it's more things like, even now I had to register Jack's car, because I want to start driving that around, just so people they know Jack and what he drives. So it might tweak someone, there's Jack. I'm really just trying to get Jack out as much as I can. And things like that, everything's costing so much more than we had before. But yeah, just mainly like we bought gaiters, things for snakes, and outdoor gear. We did write to they wrote to, not Bunnings, Anaconda, or one of those, but we didn't get funding. But we were just trying to get, a few more resources just for the search, because that's the big thing.
Yeah.
And just, keeping us afloat a bit. But, it's for me, we'll still go, no matter what happens with the GoFund, of course, we'll just get out there. But even, I'm Kimbombi and so forth is like 45 to an hour from me, and it's just it's all that that's your job now, and also just people ringing me all the time, so I couldn't actually function. I don't think that well in anything, because I wake about 3, and I rarely ever go back to sleep till the next night, so I'm never catching up on my sleep anyway. The first thing you think, when you open your eyes, is my child. Like, I haven't. As a mum, I'm very protected as a person anyway, and I can't believe I can't protect or find him.
Yeah, and you must be living off almost adrenaline too.
Your heart's going the whole. Like, I wake up with panic attacks all the time. You just go boom, 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 and you think, I can't, because you never catch up on sleep, and you might have, I wake up and have a tea or whatever, but it's just to keep going. It's just keep moving or keep thinking, and then I have people say, you didn't get back to me, and I think, if you knew what my brain is at the moment. There's times I sit on my bed, like Ross, Jack's dad, and we even both said, and we just sit like we're frozen. It's like this is not happening, and it's so weird, we can't move.
So there's just a little bit of our conversation, and you get to hear Kellie talk about what they need the funds for the GoFundMe. Obviously that list is going to be quite extensive, and it's quite a drive for her. She has 2 other daughters to look after. She has herself to look after, which she's struggling with. This is a very, very heavy weight for her to carry, and you can tell just by listening to that, adding those clips and listening back, you can hear in her voice just what a beautiful person she is and what type of family dynamic they have. So I just want to play another little bit of our conversation so you can have a listen to Kellie talk about what kind of person Jack is, and how he had a bit of time in personal training, and really liked to take care of himself. And I think that says a lot about a person. So have a little listen to that.
Well, he's a sensible guy by the sound of it and reading everything.
He really respects his body, you know. So as I say, I'm a bit of a sugar and cake fiend. He's nothing like that, you know. He'd always cook the healthiest meals for himself. So I really respected how he treated his body so well.
Yeah.
And that, you know, just would try and also what I love, he's very good to his family. So for us, he'd always tell us the stuff we were doing wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those, I have a bit of chocolate and coffee for my brekkie. I don't know why.
Same. I think it's a mum thing. Yeah, yep.
I think we just need a treat.
Yeah, endorphins. Yep.
I know it's bad because Jack would go off, he'd walk out and say, Mum, what are you doing to yourself? And I'd look up and say, mate, at this age I can do what I like.
That's it.
And he'd say, no, Mum, that you're giving yourself a sugar rush. You know, this is why you'll be tired soon. And so he's very caring towards us as well.
Oh, bless him. Yeah.
Poor darling, yeah. So, because he used to teach at the gym an oldies and boldies class as well.
Oh, my goodness. You must be so proud of him. That's sweet.
I was so proud because they all loved him. I was at a cafe once in town and this older man said, hey, Jack, how are you? And so when he finished there, they were all quite sad because he's not only good at fitness training, he's very good at making you feel good. Like he's a real motivational person. And so he's always bright and bubbly. And even if he has his moods, you wouldn't see them. You know, that's for his own personal thing. He just comes across as always fun and you want to be around him. So, yeah, they loved him at the gym.
Listening back to that clip, it makes me smile, but it makes me feel also really sad for Kellie. Listening to the way that she just dotes on her son and what type of person he sounds like. And I think this is so important for everyone to hear, to humanise this case. Jack is a person. He's not just a photo of a good-looking young guy on a missing persons poster. This is, you know, having a ripple effect on a family who are just so desperate for help. And as Kellie and I discussed, we can't understand, as I'm sure no one can understand, how one case may take priority over another. And this is a family that deserves all the help that they can get. And Jack deserves all the help that he can get. And I think this episode and any other episodes that we add as new things come to light or as time goes on, it's so important to put the pressure on and to make a lot of noise about this. And this is what we mean in life when we say that we need to rally around each other. Like as a community, we don't necessarily need to be a small community in Murgon. While that's great, yes, we want that, but we can be a community from the other side of the country. I'm in Perth, Kellie's in Queensland, and I feel like I know her heart very well from chatting with her. And it makes me want to be there for her. And I really hope that everybody who listens to this feels the same way and shares this and does everything they can. You do not have to always have the monetary means, even if you do have $1 and if you have nothing. Both are totally fine. Sharing things and keeping it out there. I want to ask you, how many times have you seen Jack McLennan on the news? Not often, if at all. How did you hear about this case? I can tell you that I was referred to this case by 2 or 3 people on the internet that I don't know and that I've never spoken to before. But they knew that I ran a podcast and they knew that I was in cold cases and missing persons and no body murders. And they said, hey, have you heard of Jack McLennan? And I said, no, I haven't. And that's coming from somebody who follows cases along quite closely. And I think that's really sad. So let's not have that keep happening. So let's hear a little bit more of mine and Kellie's conversation so you can get to know the situation a little more.
What do you think, like, if you're, you know, take the police out of it and, like, you want people to know about Jack, the outside, because, like, when you read news articles and things like that, it's just so not detailed. Like, what would you want people to know about Jack?
Yeah, I just suppose he's the word I always use for him is enigmatic, you know, like you're drawn to him. He's very bigger than than life. He's got that, like my father had it, so my beautiful dad and him were very similar, and just a lot of people are drawn to them, and yet they're solitary. They like to be on their own. They love it more than anything.
Yeah.
But people are drawn to them. And so it is that, I think in a way it's because he did love his own space that you could see that, so you were like, oh, gee, you found that quite compelling that someone could love being on there. He'd often just walk through the bush and go on bush walks or take the dog, but, he could be very solitary and enjoy himself, read. He loved reading, especially about health and sort of like spirituality. But for me as a mum, he's just always been my little love joy, my little bestie that we'd hang out all the time, do stuff together. We'd go to the gym, the girls and I would go to his gym and he'd train us a little bit. And, just a really very compassionate too, so always wanted to help. If there's a person at the gym that thought they couldn't do it, he'd make sure they knew he'd help them all the way. So he's really kind of, no matter what they think, he'll help them get there. So he's just a kind-hearted, funny. I love that. So he's always joking. So he would so he'd drive in the house, get out the car, run up and grab the girls and, throw them in the air. And he did the same to me a few times, and I only do because I'm not that light, but plus I'm older. And he would literally throw you in the air to say hello.
That's so sweet.
So he just had that real, always a kid, they just won't grow up.
Yeah.
So I think having that young attitude is why people are drawn to him. He's like a big kid, but, more fun. But, just beautiful and warm, and so very cuddly. You can always get a cuddle from him.
Well, he sounds like he'd be like a very approachable person. So I don't think, you have obviously anything like that to worry about. And I think that's what makes it worse, isn't it? Because you know him.
Yeah. If I thought he had a temper, I think, what has he done? But I know, I picked him up from the hotel a few times at 1 a.m. because he'll ring me, can't get a cab. And he's just all cuddly. I've never seen him be a cranky drunk, ever. I'd know if I saw it. And he just becomes gooey. If I'd have known, I would have cuddled him even longer that night, that's for sure.
So there's some snippets of our chat. I'm going to do a second episode next week with a bit more of our conversation and anything more that we can add. But please be mindful that it's absolutely not easy to open up to strangers, nor is it easy to ask for help, even at the best of times. Oftentimes, families like this are having to bare themselves to the world for help. So please don't let this story fall under the radar. If you think you may have witnessed or heard anything at all, and you feel uncomfortable or unsafe reporting that information to the authorities, such as police or Crime Stoppers, for whatever reason, Kellie's wonderful crew, run by Suzanne, have created a website platform. That website is www.helpfindjack.com, which allows people to make any reports or observations. This information's then put into a spreadsheet format. This is also anonymous, by the way. But the spreadsheet format will enable Suzanne and any other admins and helpers to filter the information just to spare Kellie and the family any details that might be a bit more detrimental to their well-being, but also helps to follow any leads. So as you can imagine, the insurmountable stress, missing her son is putting on Kellie and her family. The search efforts and stresses of everyday life on top of all of that are getting more intense by the day, if not by the hour. So like I said a bit earlier, there is an active GoFundMe set up for further search efforts and helping the family get through each day. They're also wanting to hire a PI, a private investigator, which would be fantastic. I will share this link as well as add it to the podcast notes, along with the anonymous tipping website, the helpfindjack.com, and the Facebook group link to help find Jack McLennan, and the link to our Reddit and the ETT Facebook group. So if you do one thing today, please share this episode. Make a lot of noise, create a lot of pressure, and get this seen and heard. I will continue to update you as anything progresses, and I appreciate the time that you have taken from your day to be here and to listen to Jack and Kellie's story. We have the power to help make a difference, and I believe that we can do that, and I believe in our advocacy and the power of that. And as always, what we aim to do here is to advocate and to seek the truth. So let's seek Jack's truth. Have a beautiful weekend wherever you are, and thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it here. If so, you can subscribe to stay up to date on new episodes, or you can find us on both Instagram and Facebook. Please feel free to jump onto our Facebook group to join in on any discussions. You can find the link to our group in the podcast notes. As always, stay curious, stay informed, and until next time, trust your instincts and keep seeking the truth.